Hello, race fans. Welcome back to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And here we are tonight at the last great Coliseum, the Bristol Motor Speedway, for the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series as they take it on for 250 laps here. Let's give a special shout out to all the sponsors who help make it happen here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and Sim Racing Unleashed. First, we want to give a shout out to Budget Sim Boxes. If you're a sim racer on a budget, looking for a button box, the Budget Sim Boxes is your source. With several different sizes and functionality options, Budget Sim Boxes will have the button box that fits your price range without breaking the bank. Budget Sim Boxes is your source of high quality button boxes at an affordable price. You can find them at Facebook by searching Budget Sim Boxes or looking for them in the Facebook iRacing flea market. And next we have ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from the ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly in sync with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go to ButtKicker.com and you can use FreakyFast20 as our promo code to get 20% there off of any purchase at ButtKicker.com, and you can feel what you've been missing. Also, we want to give a shout out to the McConey Setup Shop. The McConey Setup Shop is your home for iRacing setups and the official setup shop of the Richmond Raceway esports team. With everything from legends to cup cars, they've got you covered. Dirt setups for late models, modifieds, and wing sprints are also available. Coaching with professional drivers such as NASCAR Coca-Cola's iRacing Series champion Zach Novak, his teammate Jimmy Mullis, River Hayes, and many more also available. And remember, at the McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but they're your victories. You can head over to www.mcconeysetupshop.com where you can use promo code FFB10 to get 10% off of any setup there at the McConey Setup Shop. So make sure you head on over there and use our promo code to get yourself some victories out there on the iRacing open servers. But thank you to all the sponsors who help make it happen here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and Sim Racing Unleashed. As we are here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, I am Zach Hall, and joined alongside me will be Sam Dyer, as we have Robert Moyer Jr. up in the production box running the cameras. Sam, what a night to be here at Bristol for 250 laps. It's going to be a tough one for these drivers. What do you expect we see tonight here on the high banks?
It's going to be patient, so we're going to be seeing a lot here tonight. Drivers are going to have to pick and choose when they want to attack for passes. Is Bristol one of the hardest tracks to make passes? Yeah, drivers are going to try to figure out if the inside line works or even the outside line, but most of the time we're going to be seeing drivers feeling pretty snug right in the dead center of these corners. And it is going to be a new one for all of us to see as they are in the next gen cars here for the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series. These drivers, it's been a dominant season by that of Mark Whitley and Hunter Hayward. We'll see if anyone else can crack a win, crack it into the winner's circle. I mean, Zach, looking at the stats, it's incredible. Tied is both that of Hunter Hayward and Mark Whitley with the most wins, and no one else is even close to getting a win over these two.
Yeah, those two have really been dominant through the first portion of the season, Sam. And it's come in like strides. You know, Hunter Hayward opened the season up with a win. He kind of went through a slump at that point and has kind of clicked off a few wins here lately, where Mark Whitley was going through a streak of just greatness. Right now, Whitley on top of that practice board would not, and Hayward there second. So that's kind of matching up right now how our seasons went. But I tell you what, I would expect here tonight. This could be the track where someone knocks them off. This track here, different than any other track we go to on the schedule. Also, like you said, here at the next gen car now. What do we expect to see with the short track package? I talked to a few drivers. A lot of people are saying it's a little bit easier to drive than the previous Cup car here, but it still can get away from you very quickly. So the driver's still going to have to stay on top of that all night. It should be interesting to see who comes out on top of this, though.
Yeah, I mean, watching these drivers and the way they're attacking these corners, it just seems really snug compared to the current gen Cup car, where it seems like coming out of the corner, that outside wall just sneaks up on you. While watching the guys here, it seems like if you get a little bit too low off the exit, that's when you got to be careful of how the car is going to react. But looking at practice, our top 7 all within 100ths of one another. Absolutely incredible. I mean, one of 1/10 of one another. Keeping it close and means that we're going to have a lot of drivers right on top of one another for these 250 laps. It is going to be a long one here tonight. Bristol usually comes with cautions, but with this next gen cars, I mean, there's the possibility, like you said, with the drivers feeling like it's a little bit more comfortable, could be seeing a lot more green flag racing as drivers getting out on track for qualifying.
Yeah, here they head out now to run their laps. And the one thing about this track that always excites me is the qualifying lap as a driver. You get out here, and it almost happens in a blink of an eye. I mean, it's right there at the edge of 13 seconds, low 14-second lap. And it just feels so quick. You're on the straightaways for barely a few seconds, it feels like. And you're kind of just along for the ride, as they say around here at the somewhat of a roller coaster of a racetrack, how it banks around these corners. But it's so much fun. I cannot describe to the fans at home how much fun it is doing a qualifying lap here at Bristol.
Yeah, and what's interesting with tonight is it is a timed open qualify. That means everyone's going to be out on track at the same time, and you got 5 minutes. Put down your best time and hope it's a good one. As with it being just timed and open, some of these drivers might not even get a qualifying run for themselves.
Yeah, that's going to be very tough here to find a good slot to slot into here. This track is a lot about clean air and open track to run your racing line. And if you have someone that's starting a lap, pulling up right in front of you to mess up your lap, it can really hurt your qualifying effort here. Luckily, got some time to do this, but you're going to have to quickly put in some laps. And you're going to see a few attempts from each of these drivers to put down some quick laps. They'll even be changing tires during this session.
And some of the drivers were expecting this race to be a dirt race, as it was subject to change throughout this week of drivers trying to see if they could get the right dirt setup for these cars. And some drivers were getting a little artistic for if we were racing. Lane Doyle out on track. He got the memo a little bit too late that they were switching, but decided to continue to run his dirt scheme for the 32. So interesting to see some of these drivers on who's running which scheme and having some fun out there. And for Doyle, he's got a little bit of mud slinging on there, but we'll see if some scrapes tonight change up that scheme at all.
Oh man, great stuff there from Lane. You gotta love to see that. Yeah, expected dirt here tonight, and then coming in with the change here to the asphalt, or well, shouldn't say asphalt, the concrete oval here in Bristol, Tennessee, as That is a big switch up there, but man, either way, we got some good short track action here on a Sunday night on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I could not complain. And thank you everybody again for tuning in here. As we got about 2 minutes left here, Sam. At the moment, it looks like Whitley's still holding on to the top of that board with Hunter Hayward there directly behind. Looks like he goes a little bit quicker there to get about 2/100ths of a second within Whitley. It's getting close between our top two, but man, Whitley's still holding on to it.
Yeah, Whitley finding that a little bit more consistency, and he's been out there a lot longer, just trying to continue to cruise, go as fast as he can, see what the tire wear is going to look like. With it being 5 minutes of just testing time for drivers that have already put down a good qualifying run, why not go out there, continue to run? You know, you put your best times out there, you could reset. At the same time, you could also just continue to run, get a feel of what the first 10, possibly 15, maybe even 20 laps, if you can really fly around here, what these tires are going to be like after that run during qualifying. But looking at the standings, where drivers are, our front two qualifying wise, still Mark Whitley and Hunter Hayward. I mean, I think the biggest question has to be who is going to be that third driver to really pressure our top two dogs.
And, you know, looking at Steven Leffler in the 5th position, he's a great short track driver with past experience here at SW. So I would be looking at him to be possibly one of the drivers here to, you know, put up a threat. And also, you know, with this next gen car, we'll have to see how that performs, of course. Maybe that's a little bit different for these drivers filling it out. But at the moment, Whitley has picked up his time. We'll see here's a ride with the back bumper cam of Hunter Hayward. And, oh, man, his last qualifying tip goes up in shambles, as it looks like he may have to just, you know, give it up here and take second. But at the moment, Whitley's still hanging on with 25 seconds to go.
Back bumper chase cam, giving us a little bit of a feel of what iRacing would feel like if we were racing on a console, that is, but giving us that little bit of a sensation as that we're on board with Leffler in the 72. Got 13 seconds left. He's going to have to fly if he's going to finish up this lap, but I think Leffler's just going to come up about maybe 200 yards short. This time ticking away, 2, 1. He's just going through the center of the corner and across the line. We'll see if it counts. I don't believe it will. Oh, it does. Up to third for the 72.
Yeah, what a time there. Well, speaking of the guy that put himself right there behind our top two, Hunter Hayward, there he is, Steven Leffler. And that 72 machine, what a qualifying lap for him. But Whitley going to get his 5th pole in 7 starts. That is domination when it comes to qualifying. Let's see if he can translate that to maybe a 4th race win here tonight.
And we've seen another series where even if you've got that fast qualifying time, we'll see if the race trip stacks up as well. As Zach, here's our starting grid.
Yes, sir, it is. First starting on that front row will be Mark Whitley there on the inside. Alongside him will be Hunter Hayward. Third is going to go to Steven Leffler in that 72 machine. Fourth is going to be the one car of Todd Neese. Rounding out the top 5 is going to be Derek Love. 6th place is going to go to the 95 of Michael Yarrow. 7th is going to be Steven Stimpian. There's 8th is Brad Delth. 9th is going to be Lane Doyle. 10th is going to be Dave Bush. 11th is going to go to Gino Morrow. 15th is going to be Robbie Darnell. 13th is going to go to James Bryan. 14th is going to go to David Neese. 15th is going to go to Mike Chamberlain. 16th is going to go to Paul Cohen. 17th is going to go to Jason Adams. 18th, Mark Koschik. 19th, Keith Hurlbut. And then 20th will go to Clifton Ashley, as that's our 20 cars here tonight at Sim Racing Unleashed for their Cup Series here at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Just looking at the numbers, I mean, our 13 on back did not put a time down, so risking being back in traffic as these drivers get set to race. I saw a lot of guys single filed out during practice. How will they react being side by side when we go green on this start? 250 laps, Zach. These drivers, they don't have a lot of sets of tires to work with here. Only 4 sets here tonight. 1 that they start out with and 3 in pit road, and no fast repairs. If you get damage, you're going to have to repair it in pit road.
Ooh, there's some tough circumstances here tonight for these drivers, especially that fast repair. 250 laps here is a marathon, avoiding all types of calamity here tonight. I think the driver that wins will be the driver that missed most of that, and you're never safe anywhere. I've seen the leader taken out many times by a wreck happening directly right in front of them, the car moving after that wreck, and them getting caught up. So we got to pay attention all night. You're never safe here in Bristol.
Absolutely not. Also, another factor to watch out for is the temperature. Ambient temperature going to be that of 86 degrees. Track temp 91. It wasn't 92, so expecting the track temp to fluctuate here tonight as drivers hoping that it will drop instead of staying high. Side by side, we're stacked up, ready to go. 250 laps here for SRU, and we got to see mile and a half racing, road course racing, super speedway racing, but for the first time this season in the next gen cars, short track racing here at Bristol. Zach, we think we know what's going to happen, but in reality, it's up in the air what we're going to see with these next gen cars.
It's a big toss up here. A lot of things going through my mind of what could happen, but we're going to have to see because these drivers, I'm sure, are pretty nervous about it. I'm sure they have put in a lot of practice, but Bristol, it's all about the race. Practice can mean really nothing once you get into this thing because it's going to be a fight all the way down to the end of this 250 laps.
Excited, a mile. You'd think that'd be enough space. How about a half a mile track? Bristol about to go green flag in the air. And it is going to be Whitley and Hayward bringing us to turn number 1, still side by side through the field as they are clean through 1 and 2. We'll see how 3 and 4 goes.
Looks like they're going to skid through there pretty clean. Also is still the battle for third between Nice and Leffler continues on. Steven trying to work that bottom lane in that 72 with Todd Nice fighting around the top there. Looks like he'll take the 3rd position. As back here, he's still got a few positions squabbling back and forth. He's looking at 95 when Michael Yarrow solidified himself in the 6th position through these early 3 laps.
We're just seeing everyone running a pretty similar line, and what that's going to show is we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers having to be aggressive on the entries of these corners. If you can get to someone's back bumper, you might have to force them high with a deep dive, maybe a little bit of a slide job move. We're on concrete, but doesn't mean you can't do some dirt tracking moves. It's still everyone's single filed up. Closest action on track is going to be the battling going on for 7th place as they are just stuck in the middle, jam-packed, nowhere to go, and still trying to pick and choose if they want to move forward or just stay where they're at.
Yeah, looks like everybody kind of in a train here at the moment. This is what you'll see here at Bristol early in the going, especially when you got guys being patient like this. Looks like Yarrow, the one driver, ducking himself a little bit lower in line, and that 95 is there. He'll go back up towards the line. But man, this track here is really what I worry about for drivers is tire wear. You got to manage your tires. This concrete surface, similar to Dover on iRacing, will eat the right front tire off, and especially if you're already tight, you do not want to burn that thing off. It'll be a long night for you if you are having a tight race car.
And, looking at these drivers, how they want to attack here tonight. I mean, staying single filed up, it's all right for now, as we're starting to see some pressure for the lead. Hunter Hayward looks like he wants to try to make this inside lane work for himself. The 21 just, once he goes to the inside, just losing too much ground as Whitley into the wall on the entry of turn 3.
Yeah, he was in way too deep there. Gonna send himself up to the wall, so looks like Hayward putting more pressure. He goes to the inside, down into the corner. Can he get it to work, Sam?
I mean, this is exactly what costed Whitley last week when we were at Charlotte, as the 77 got some early front right damage from getting into the wall, and don't want to get early damage this soon, but it looks like it's not hurting him too bad, but it might be that tire wear just entering these corners so hot and heavy. I want to think about backing off a little bit more when the entry of turn 3 at least, as 77, he's trying to figure out how to enter turn 3, but he's so high close to the wall, it's losing him time. Here comes Hayward out of turn 4.
Yeah, continually pressuring him. And even in front of him, Sam, there's really not much of a gap to the first set of lap cars. I mean, it's only, I believe, 2 seconds up the road. So when they start catching those, if Hayward can continue to put this pressure on him here, he could possibly use those lap cars as a pick as they go around. We'll have to see. But, yeah, Whitley getting early into the wall like that, not a good sign for this race for him.
Absolutely not. In that lap traffic that our leaders are coming up to, side by side, 2 rows deep for them. So even when our leaders catch up to this lap traffic, it's going to be a hazard for them to get by. As we're just seeing, I'm watching these guys back here. Here comes our leaders up to that lap traffic. It's going to be that of Keith Hurlbart, who's going to be that first driver to worry about the 7 losing ground. He's already gotten to the wall. He's extremely slow into Whitley, and we talked about the pit. A little bit of a pick there, and here comes Hunter Hayward.
What a move. They ran up on the 7 of Keith Hurlbart there. Whitley doing everything he can not to get into Keith there and damage that race car. And Hunter Hayward, they're going to expert job to get around them. As you see the rest of the drivers trying to get around. Derek Love almost at 87, almost up into that 7. And man, that's the thing. You go on this racetrack, there's going to be varying speeds, and you're seeing the difference between a few drivers out there to other drivers, and it's going to really create some sticky situations here at the high banks in Bristol.
I mean, I'm just keeping my eyes out for the lap traffic, because they've got to figure out where to place themselves, because with this next-gen car, you kind of struggle on where to put yourself. As it's going to be down to 24 of Jason Adams in the way of our leader. Goes high, giving space for Hayward. And also the other goal, make sure you catch up to lap traffic at the right point of the track. Zach, there are so many points here on this course that if you get to lap traffic, you might be finding yourself losing ground.
Oh, very well could be. I mean, you know, a lot of people think they need to go out here, get a big lead, stretch it out, but a lot of times you catch traffic at that point, and that lead begins to shrink as you have a tougher and tougher time getting through traffic. And they're always going to make it harder on the leader, because once they're a lap down, I mean, there's no point in the fight. So usually when that second or third place guy gets to them, the guy's going to let them by. And up ahead of our leader, still some interesting action between the lap cars, or the not yet to be lap, but the soon to be lap cars of Paul Cohen and James Bryan, as they're side by side in front of leader Hayward. He goes by. Luckily it gets through, as you see Stippian now getting past Jason Adams.
It's just slicing and dicing. Got to make sure you've got enough space, as Mark Whitley almost brushing the wall in the entry of 3 once again, trying to get by Cohen. But looking at some of these drivers right now, been staying on board with the 81, getting a sense and a feel what the middle of the field is like when you're trying to get by lap traffic. But still, I mean, you touched on it before we got to the lap drivers that were going to become lap cars. You can use them as a pick, and Hunter Hayward did that fabulously about 10 laps ago. And, you know, looking at how many laps we've completed, we're about to complete lap 25, and we are just about 6 minutes into this race. Into pit road's going to be the 7. Too much damage, needs to get repairs done, and might be thinking about leaving. And yeah, the 7 parking it for the day.
Oh, unfortunately for Keith Hurlbut there. But just going to have to bring that thing down the pit road. But we're looking at Todd Neeson. This is a guy, I think, actually, I highlighted Stephen Leffler, who's directly behind him in the 72. But Todd Neese, also a driver who excels at the Bristol Motor Speedway. I've actually raced with this guy at this racetrack before, and I can tell you he excels very well at long runs here. So I would expect this one to be somewhat strong here as the run goes on. As man, we jumped aboard with Leffler. He almost knocked the right side fender flares off of that race car. Luckily didn't get to the wall. But yeah, I'd expect these two right here to be the possible two to take it to our front two leaders.
Yeah, and for Todd Neese, I mean, he's looking to get his second top 5 this season. He got his first back at Pocono, and ever since then, it's just been an up and down season. So far in the 6 races that have been ran, he's got a total of 3 top 10s, 1 top 5. So Todd Neese looking for another solid finish, and he's shown pace here or there as a driver, getting mixy with some lap traffic. That looks like it's going to be Yarrow, who had this really slow down, catching up to lap traffic, and you're just costing yourself time if you catch up to lap traffic. But a mosh pit, a hornet's nest back in 9th place. You've got about 6 drivers not giving an inch. Lap cars mingled in, and this could be a spot where we might see a wreck coming soon, as Dolph, he's trying to get by, but it is too mixy right now.
Yeah, 14 of Brad Delp there getting past Jason Adams, but he's got also Gino Morrow in the 71 directly ahead of him. Also, you got Lane Doyle going through. This is getting pretty intense here as they battle their way through. And that's what we're seeing. Lap traffic is so critical here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. This track is so line sensitive, and when it's kind of somewhat of a dirt track. You run up on somebody, you gotta pick your line wisely. If you don't, you're gonna get stuck behind that driver and give up the time.
Gotta be careful, hoping that he doesn't get in any contact. Morrow's going to be trying his best to hold on, but you're just seeing the exit of the corners. The longer the run goes on, the more these drivers are just getting that sense of a loose sensation. 14 trying a little bit of a higher apex, getting the run out of the corner, but Dolph's trying. But this is the issue with Bristol. There's no space to make these passes.
Yeah, it's a tough racetrack to pass, especially if you cannot make the lower line work. If you can make the lower line work, you can really pass here and continually make, good time with people. But if all you have in your back pocket is that upper line to be able to make time around this racetrack, when you get to somebody and they have that line there, you can't drive through them. So you're gonna have to figure a way around. And the drivers who excel the most at this racetrack are the ones who can somewhat seem to run that bottom lane and keep that momentum. As we jump back up to our leader, Hunter Hayward, he's got Whitley all over him as they get past the 76 there.
There's an issue of a driver trying to come into pit road. James Bryan missed his pit entry, it looks like, drove right into the water barrels, and his day might be done with that contact. Had to take the tow. We'll see if he decides to park it for the day, and he does. So already down 2 drivers before we're even a lap 50. Left with 17 drivers on track and only 13 left on the lead lap.
Well, what comes into my mind, though, Sam, now is as this race plays out, like it's 40 laps in, this is seeming pretty green. I don't want to jinx the race now and give the commentator curse to where a yellow flag is going to fly. But, man, you got to be thinking what type of strategy you're going to play. You could split this race right down the middle, do 125, and you could do that, but I just do not see the tires being able to last that long. And I see a possible 2-stop strategy actually being able to come back and be faster than a 1-stop with how much fall off there is in these tires. And this track only being a half-mile long, when you have a good margin on the tires, you make up a lot of time. It's Stimpy in here, getting super close to A7 Derek Love. It's all stacking up right here as the field's starting to fall off on pace.
Yeah, you got your 2 stacked up packs, as you've got that of 4th on back being led by Todd Nice, and following all the way back to that of the lap car. I believe that would be that's Robbie Darnell. That's all the way back there in the back of that pack. And then you've also got the second group that's being led for 8th place, where you got Gino Morrow and also Dave Bush. They're side by side battling for 8th position, not giving it an inch, but touching on those tires. The window I had, if the drivers were going to save a set for late in this race, they're aiming around lap 80 to 90 is going to be the window for those drivers, make it a 2-stop strategy. But for everyone else, like we threw out, they could try to split this thing in half, but already 46 laps into this race, their drop off from their best lap time already over a second from where it was before.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that, Sam. I think 80 to 90 is the perfect pit window for somebody to do that. I mean, that is going a long time on tires here. This place really puts a hurting on the tires, and we're only about halfway to that point of the run. And you can see, look at this, man. The lap cars getting involved here. Todd Nice gets trapped around Jason Adams. He has to go, oh, man, almost into the inside wall. And what a major hit there. Jason Adams kind of holding up there to 81 Stympian, too, as that battle with the lap cars really heats up.
Touched on it. If you exit just so low, you can find yourself getting too loose because you're putting too much wheel input off the exit of these corners, and that's exactly what happened to Todd Nice, sending him into the apron, but luckily did not hit the wall, but still having issues getting by that of Adams, and Adams finally got to duck low, give the position to the one on the outside, and Nice went from 4th back to 7th, and it's going to be a rebound day for himself. Here is Bush and also the one of Gino Morrow, the rookie this season, and holding off the 53 and also the 14, and again, that loose sensation on the inside, but you just can't get the run off the corner. That's what's costing these guys and not allowing that inside line to move. But like you touched on, these drivers might think about a 2-stop here this evening, and that would probably be the best time to make passes on the inside when you got fresh rubber.
Yeah, it gets so much tougher as the run goes on to make that pass. What you're going to see is you got Dave Bush here. He's running the bottom. He's running about a lane off the bottom, but if he ran a whole nother lane, 1 lane closer to that outside line, got right up on the door of that outside lane, you can kind of make that work.
Leader issues the 32, I believe. got in the way. Doyle, excuse me, missed call on that. But issues for our leader, contact with a lap car. And that was going to be Paul Conan that just was in the way. Hunter Hayward, major front end damage for the 21.
Oh man, that front end is destroyed. And oh, the closing rate he had on Paul Conan was immense. Just could not, really expect that coming. And look at this now. Whitley's going to try to go around him. You also got Leffler there, not too far behind. Man, oh man, Hunter Hayward there leading this race. Doing everything he can to hold on to the lead and just makes a small mistake running into the back of the lap car on the issue of the corner.
Closing rate was incredible, and what makes it even worse is that Cohen was all on his own when the leader came up to him. So Cohen was about to go 2 laps down, and instead of maybe ducking low onto the apron just to get out of the way, stays in the racing line, and now damage for the 21. It gets bumped by Whitley, shoved up in the outside wall, pass for the lead. 77 back out up front. But I don't think our leaders are safe, as we were touching on that battling that's going on for 8th place. That pack, our leaders are right on the tail end of it.
Yeah, that's the wild thing about this racetrack is you really can, if you got good pace, you can quickly lap people here. I mean, it only being a 14-second lap, if you're a tenth a lap faster than somebody, it doesn't take long to get back around. So, we're seeing drivers right now really stack up on the outside line, and that's where you see these big trains form. If I'm Whitley, I'm feeling good that I got the lead back, but just what I've seen happen to Hunter Hayward, I got to be worried about that and keeping a heads up of this pack that they're going to run up onto.
A comment by that of Brandon Colley up in the chat. With that front end damage, that of Hunter Hayward has to worry about his engine temps from here on out, especially with the front end damage that he got. Gotta hope that temps stay low and they don't overheat with the damage. But our leaders, they are in the middle of the thick of this lead lap traffic that is soon to be going a lap down. Mark Whitley, this is gonna get nerve-wracking.
Yeah, you see here as he goes to the inside of Jason Adams down the front straightaway here, now down into 1 and 2. He's going to have Dave Bush and multiple other cars. David Neese directly ahead. He's going to Brad Delph up to there too. Lane Doyle. It is multiple cars. And each car they lap is a quicker race car than the one before. So it gets tougher and tougher as Whitley tries to put cars in between him and Leffler and Hayward.
Oh, they got a lap car down below, but luckily Whitley was able to make the pass before coming up onto the 70. And that's just another factor, is it's kind of like playing Frogger in a way. You've got to make sure there's enough space for you to come down, as you got faster cars, slower cars that you have to try to avoid yourself. As kind of the rule of thumb is when you're about to go a lap down or a lap car, hold your lane and hope that the lead lap cars can get around you.
Yeah, and we had about a 4-second gap forming back from that really third position on back to fourth. But now 4th, 5th, and 6th as Steven Stimpy, Michael Yarn, and Derek Lowe. All 3 of these drivers have drove up pretty quickly close to this lead here, as this is kind of stacked up in this lap traffic.
Mark Whitley doing a great job cutting through. He's just got 3 more drivers, and then he's through this major pack. Then he's got himself a pretty clean racetrack in front of him to worry about. And the next driver to worry about after these 3 cars would be Paul Cohen, who's, again, all on his lonesome, back in 16th position, 2 laps down. But, when you've got a lot of drivers, this practically is our whole entire pack mixed into this group that our leaders are trying to get by. And luckily, Mark Whitley, he's just got 1 more driver to get by.
And we're getting word here from our producers right on board with Stimpy here. It's seeming that he is shifting from 4th to 5th gear, and hey, the sequential box, using that to his advantage. We do have a spinner, but it's on the apron. I think we're going to stay green.
Oh, and once again, it just keeps snowballing on himself. He looks like, I'm going to have to relook at this, but looks like he might have gotten loose out of the corner, or I don't know. He got wrecked in the center of the straightaway, and it looks like he just lost focus, hit the wall, and then just spun out in front of the leaders.
Yeah, Paul Cohen, yeah. Like you said, I don't know if he just lost focus and drove into the wall, but major mistakes there for the 51, and that's going to catch him out as we ride on board with Derek Love in this 87 machine fighting for a top 5 with Steven Stipping. You can see he is not shifting, so this is definitely interesting. And you know, right ahead of this, Hayward has got caught up by Yarrow, as Yarrow's going to try to pass him. And Hayward definitely in that damage, really coming to a factor now with that 21.
Yeah, it is a major factor, just bogging down, losing time. About a full tenth or more slower is Hunter Hayward compared to the rest of the drivers. You're seeing the 44 up into the wall. Darnell's going to be just staying high, staying into the wall as drivers sneak on by, but it will almost be about 3 wide as drivers get a little bit antsy and mingled, and that is the lead driver in 6th place, that of Derek Love, who got trying to make the middle work, but that's a sketchy place to be with drivers bouncing off the wall and some getting a little bit loose underneath them.
Yeah, this is getting to be a pretty interesting time of the race. A little bit worried here that we may get our first collision. Oh, is Doyle up into the wall? Here goes Todd Niesby. This is wild stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, the fall off here, just depending on driver to driver, is tremendous, and you're going to have these closing rates that are just tremendously scary at this racetrack.
Yeah, some of the drivers further back, 2 seconds off of what their best times were. Our leaders still about 1.5 seconds off of what their best times are. So the drop off is certainly there. But, you know, we threw out the thought of possibly pitting twice. I don't think I want to put myself in any type of danger of being stuck trying to fight my way through traffic like that again. But it's pick and choose where you want to place yourself type of scenario, because we saw the closing rate from that of Hayward onto that of Cohen. It was destructive to the 21. Now it's the question of where do these drivers want to place themselves? Do you want to have that faster speed with fresh tires, knowing that it could put you in a bad spot as Hunter Hayward still side by side and just struggling to get by lap cars?
Yeah, and I'm telling you what, Hunter Hayward here, he is definitely holding up the Yarrow and the 87 of Love and Stimping here, because they're getting yarded right now by Leffler and Whitley, who right now Leffler was putting a lot of pressure on Whitley a couple laps ago. Now a little bit of a gap here as they go through lap traffic, but you can see here Hunter Hayward kind of holding it up. Oh, Love into the back of Nice. This is getting wild, Sam. Oh
no,
man.
Hunter Hayward, there goes 25. Oh. And we still stay green as Yarrow was looking poised to be inside of the top 4, now back to 7th, and has to get back up to speed before he goes a lap down as Mark Whitley is coming out of the corner just a straightaway off.
And that is just Michael Yarrow being a good guy. He lists for Hunter Hayward and just gets, you know, goes around there. So having to jab the brake and not getting to the back of that 21. So good job on Yarrow missing the 21, but unfortunate for him, it sends him around. Here you see Stimpy trying to get by his teammate at Hayward. Hayward not giving the teammate much help.
Well, the biggest thing is you're fighting for everything you've got, and I think it might not be just him trying to be defensive here, but understanding, hey, if I give up time here, I could be giving up time to the drivers behind me, as Todd Nice is right behind. We'll now move to looking at Derek Love trying to get by the 21. Looking at the drivers ahead, though, you can see the 14. Also looks like the 70 might have had some issues bogging down, slowing down. But the leader of this pack is, oh my gosh, it's hard to even concentrate on one thing when everyone's scattering. But contact still being made for that of the 71 and also that of the 14. Dolph and Morrow, they have not gotten away from one another, and they're probably a couple of laps away from Dolph just dumping the 71.
Yeah, Brad is definitely got pretty close to doing it so far, but I would expect it to come pretty soon. I mean, you know, tippers tend to flare here at Bristol, they say, so I would expect to see a few things that happen. But here we are at lap 90, and it's still super wild. As
they're 3 wide.
Oh, 3 wide with Delph up there, the 71, the wrecking.
Love, he holds on, but that's going to be our yellow. Oh no, I think the 53 might have made contact with Love. Oh my goodness, just... No, there's going to be, once Robert comes back, we'll try to get a freaky fast replay on that, but oh my goodness.
Yeah, man, oh man. Unfortunately, our producer had to step away for a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. So, we were handling it up here in the booth, and man, that got wild, Sam, very quickly. And I mean, at some point that had to happen. It came right at the window of when you were talking about 80 to 90 laps. This is right in that window, so it does set them up for a two stop to or a one stop now to the end.
Yeah, and re-looking at this wreck, it looked like we were seeing Yarrow, we were seeing the 71, excuse me, Amaro, and as well Dolph racing hard up front. But then the lap car of the 24, Jason Adams, kind of just he was running so slow, and instead of going on the apron just to get out of the way of this group, being about a full second off the pace of this pack, stayed in the middle, clogging everyone on track, forcing Love to go 3 wide, and got contact from that of Dolph and wasn't clear, and just everyone went flinging everywhere. And then also behind them, there was some contact being made by drivers such as Dave Bush and others just getting mingled in. But this is you're seeing some of the contact from some of these drivers as the 24 got a lot of scrapes on that right side, probably from both contact with other drivers and also scrapes off the wall. But looking at this caution, driver is able to get some service done. Zach, I gotta say, I feel like this is probably helping Hunter Hayward the most here with this caution coming out as well for Todd Neese. Both those drivers had a couple of moments where they needed to get repairs done.
Yeah, you know, speaking of Hunter Hayward in the 21 machine, I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on up here and see what he has to say about his race car, because we'll see how those damages are. I'm sure it definitely hurt his chances, but we'll see if he's getting fixed up. Hey, Hunter, Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, buddy. Well, unfortunately, they're getting caught up in the lap traffic there, getting that nose damage. Excess to us the damage right now, man. It definitely like it hurt the car pretty bad. Do you think you're gonna be able to get it fixed up to somewhat decent, fixable condition?
Oh, definitely. Right now, we're taking our repairs. I've gone up here road a couple times right now. Getting it right now. Right now, I'm almost complete with it actually, and you know, unfortunate. It was just a miscommunication with me and lap traffic. I take responsibility. It's my job to get around lap traffic, and I made the miscommunication with them. So my apologies to the 51 for that. But right now, yeah, we got most of our damage fixed, and I'm looking forward to get back up to the front and hopefully have a better race today.
Well, buddy, good luck to you. Hopefully, you can keep that nose clean the rest of the race and get back up there. But good luck to you, and we'll catch you at the end, hopefully.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, Sam, that was Hunter Hayward there in the 21 as we're going to get ready to go back green flag racing. Sounds like you might got to work on a little bit. We'll see what his pace is like here as we get ready to go back green.
Yeah, man, these drivers, I mean, we're already almost 100 laps down, and we have done a great job getting all the racing action set up as we are green once again. It's Whitley, Leffler, Neese, Love, and Yarrow, your top 5 as we rocket out of turn number 2. And Zach, the sun's starting to set. You're seeing a lot more shade, and the sun beaming on this track's going away.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the first portion of this race here under the sunlight here, but now that sun's starting to fade under the grandstands, like you said there, Sam, and the lights should be kicking on here, I'd say, in the next 15 to 30 minutes here as that sunlight continues to dim. We should finish this thing under the lights, but how fast they're clicking off laps here, we're going to be out of here pretty soon if they keep it like this.
Yeah, able to go 90 laps green, and then a miscommunication, a couple of scrapes and rubs, and lap traffic getting in the way. We are at our first caution. Now drivers, we'll see if we can keep it green, but we're now seeing drivers with a lot more damage up front still, and this is going to be putting some drivers in some tricky situations, but I'm imagining a lot of these guys loving to have fresh rubber.
Oh, for sure. They were struggling so hard before, and now they got to be thinking in their head, man, I got to save something for this long run because they got to experience a very, very long run, and that'll stay sharp in a driver's mind how their tire were at the end of that run. And I'm going to tell you what, Steven Leffler, if he has a chance to have another long green flag run like that again, he was all over the back bumper of the 77 of Whitley. If he can just stay a little bit closer, not lose as many positions as he did on that last green flag run, he could be up there a lot quicker and be challenging for this race win.
Yeah, the biggest factor, lap traffic. That's what gave Hunter Hayward the lead, and we'll see if that's going to be the factor that could possibly give Todd Nice, Leffler, one of those drivers, a shot. As Mark Whitley able to get by that of Adams. We'll see how quick he can get by the next lap car, as that's going to be the 33 of Kostic, who's going to be going down a lap, and now leaving us a total of 8 drivers on the lead lap. And Zach, I mean, looking at the field, what are some of the spots that you are hoping that you do not catch up to lap traffic at?
Well, it's mostly, it comes down to you want to be able to clear them, especially on exit. There's nothing worse than catching a car right on the exit of the corner. I'm a big believer in when I'm getting lapped to give the driver that's lapping the corner exit, because entry is one thing. Take the outer line on the entry, but when you're trying to get past a lap car and they just hold it on your quarter panel on the door coming off the corner, there's nothing more frustrating than that, because that just, you're giving up time by not being able to unwind that wheel, carry that speed out, and you're definitely giving up time. But as a lap car, the biggest thing you can do is hold your line. As a lead lap car, that's your job to get around him, and that's Hunter Hayward. He took the responsibility of getting into Paul. The closing race a lot. Paul was definitely a lot, slower pace-wise than him. But Hunter had to be able to judge that and pick the line to be able to go where he wanted to. Unfortunately, it was the wrong one, and that's how you make mistakes as a driver sometimes that you'll learn from later.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys still trying to put down the best laps that they possibly can. And looking at the differences between all of our leaders, you can see they're at the bottom right on how these different battles that we switch to, where they're lying for themselves. 110 laps, soon to be 111 laps here. And looking at some of these battles, it's more of you're picking and choosing who's the lap car that you want to deal with. That's the 33 coming into pit road, getting his first pit stop of the evening. And for that of Mark, he tried his best to stay on the lead lap, was hoping for a quick caution. It just never came. He'll be going down multiple laps, even though he tried a different strategy than most.
Yeah, I believe Jason Adams also, he might have took the wave too, and the wave around seems like a good idea. It really does when you're a lap down car, but at this track, it is a terrible idea. You always want to take fresh tires, just due to the fact of if you're a half a second slower per lap here at Bristol, in 28 laps, you're going to be a lap down. So things happen quickly. If you're a second slower, in 14 laps, you'll be a lap down. So you got to think about that. If you take that wave around, it's most likely going to go away from you, and you're going to go back a lap down pretty quickly.
Looks like some possible issues for the 81 of Stampian. We touched on the fact that 81 was shifting, and I think he might have shifted a little bit too many gears low, too fast, blowing up his engine and trying to crawl his way to pit road.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for him. We'll have to go back and listen to that one. Yeah, and it's interesting. He didn't even blow when he shifted it. I think personally he's got nose damage. If he was shifting with that nose damage, he could have overheated that race car, and I think he expired from that.
I mean, he was going through turns 1 and 2, and then I saw a huge puff of smoke. Went back, saw the 81 just crawling on the backstretch, and his day has come to a quick close here. And maybe if we see a lot more caution flags wave, it would put the 81 in a better spot to possibly get back out there on track. But at the pace that we're seeing these drivers clocking down lap times, I don't know if there's going to be enough time to repair your engine and get back out there.
Yeah, that's pretty much night over here, Bristol. There's a few guys out there that may get caught up in something here soon, that if you get that repaired and they call it a night, you could get a few positions. It's just going to depend on your points position-wise. And you can see Delph and Doyle here on the screen.
No, the 24 back again. Exactly same situation. Oh man, that's frustrating. The same exact wreck that we saw that brought out our first caution happened again. 24 gets in the way of a large pack, and everyone's trying to avoid, just not able to get out of the way. Here's your freaky fast broadcasting replay, and you're going to see the 71, Gino Morrow, trying to get slowed down out of the way, and everyone's trying to do the same thing, but because they're side by side, Dolph's going to be down low and not recognizing, and contact with Love once again being spun, the 87.
Yeah, that is, like you said, Sam described in one word, frustrating from a driver's standpoint. You know, Jason Adams is doing the best he can out there on the old tires to not get in the way, but unfortunately, his pace with those old tires, I mean, frankly, was in the way. I mean, it's just really, really tough to slow up like that when you're carrying that much speed and the car's carrying that much less speed. It's that's a tough deal there, and that's going to bring out the second caution in a very similar fashion.
I'm just confused. I mean, Jason Adams still has not come to pit road at all this race, and he has enough sets to come in when that first caution came out, get a fresh set, but he's now coming in this time around. But that's just a weird situation where it just did not make sense for him to be staying out as long as he did, trying to cut down a pit stop, but it's kind of just hurting the rest of the field by him trying that strategy out.
Yeah, it definitely hurt him. You know, like I said, I think he tried to take that wave around, and at the end of the day, if you're already that much slower and that long of a run, you probably should just take tires and taking the wave. I know you got extra fuel to make it a longer distance, but like I said, he went even more laps down due to taking that wave because of how off pace he was, and now getting those tires. But guess what? I mean, yeah, he's gonna have a good pace advantage over the rest of the guys on the field, but it's still not going to equate so much because he's 6 laps down now.
Looking like Derek Love, who was on the lead lap, going to have to take some repairs, putting himself a lap down, leaving us with 7 cars on the lead lap. And that is a tough one. And even just came over the radio, it was nose damage that he got when spinning. And yeah, this is an interesting one. No fast repairs for these drivers. So if you blow your engine, you have required damage. You have to sit and wait and watch the field race around you as you wait for your required time to get repaired, which when you blow your engine, it could be anywhere from 15 minutes in pit road waiting to 30, sometimes even 40 minutes that you are waiting out there.
Yeah, you never want to be sitting on pit road at Bristol with the way laps clicking off this quickly. You're going to go many laps down very fast, and that's unfortunate for Steven Stippian there, who is sitting on pit road here for looks like the majority of this race. Well, let's see if he gets that thing fixed up, gets any positions back, if anybody else wrecks out of it, Sam. But when we take the green here, man, it's going to be halfway. A lot still could play out. We've seen a lot of wild action. You're never safe. And if I'm Whitley, I'm still thinking, I got to keep this thing clean.
Gino Morrow, one of the drivers, I'm going to keep my eye out for. As the 71 going to be the last car on the lead lap, but he did pit. If he can stretch it halfway and we stay green all the way to the end, let's see what 71 can do, being kind of the control car of if you can stretch it and what position you can get. Green flag back in the air. Mark Whitley just looking like he's having a nice cool breeze until he catches up to lap traffic as he is away, gone, and it's the battle for third. That's hot and heavy.
And look at that. Look who's back into position. Michael Yarrow had the spin, not trying to get into the 21. He's back up here fighting Leffler in the 72 as he gets to the back bumper, decides to lift out of his. Leffler here charges to the back bumper of the one in Nice. Who of these drivers is going to be the one to take that Whitley? And look who's coming into the picture up into the top 5, even with still that considerable bit of nose damage. The 21 of Hunter Hayward.
Yeah, it's really working out that the rest of the field is getting themselves in trouble, damage, because Hunter Hayward's about 3/10, sometimes 2/10 off of what the rest of the field is running. He's doing his best to try different strategies on how to attack these corners to keep up with this front pack, but for the 21, it's hope that his temps don't blow up on him. That is going to be the biggest issue. But Yarrow, Leffler, that is the battle I'm enjoying watching right now, as Yarrow's trying to pick and choose how he wants to get underneath. But just that inside line is just not working out for anyone currently. Even with equal footing on tires, it's a struggle. Then fall back to the battling for 10th place. Lap cars duking it out. Dolphin in Love. It just seems like the 14 always mixing and mingling with someone else here tonight.
Well, Sam, while you were talking there, I just had a flashback, an epiphany here as we're sitting here watching this Bristol Motor Speedway race. these three guys we're looking at right here: Michael Yarrow, Steven Leffler, and Todd Neese. The last time Freaky Fast Broadcasting was at a Bristol Motor Speedway race, I'm pretty sure it came down to these three drivers here, and Michael Yarrow was the race winner. As we got another caution as Jason Adams in the 24s up in the wall, bringing out our third caution of the night, and man, the leaders narrowly missing that one too.
Gets loose out of turn number 2, and there's just getting loose and spinning out. We're going to see it here on the Freaky Fast Broadcasting replay. And luckily, in a spot where our leaders could go low and avoid him, but certainly a scary situation for these guys. You're going to see the 24 just coming out of the corner, loose, trying to hold on, overcorrects, and whew, able to get by. Luckily, Morrow was not collected in that one.
Yeah, lucky case for a few guys not to get collected in that. And that was a case of catching just a little bit of that apron with his left front. And I tell you, the apron here transition from that banking is pretty aggressive. So it upset that race car, sending him around. And yeah, unfortunate night for Jason Adams, as unsure if he'll be back out there. Yes, he will, so he gets it back lined up. So some damage on that 24, down the 7 laps down here in the 14th position. Not been the greatest night for that 24 car.
But for Jason Adams, it is a never give up type of a night that he is going to be showing here. If that engine's got to be completely blown, just take him off this course. But we did have some drivers decide to come into pit road, get some service for themselves. Hunter Hayward going to be getting himself some service, 4 tires for that of Todd Neese, and as well going to get some 4 tires for David Neese for himself. Another pack of lap cars coming into pit road, and also Gino Amaro going to get some service done and repairs for the 71, as those are the drivers on the lead lap getting some service done. I believe with this caution, the 32, I believe he was the one who got our lucky dog, trying to get service done and get back out on track and hope that he doesn't go back a lap down.
And under this third caution here as we pace, Whitley, he's been looking pretty strong up front, but Leffler up to second, with Neese pitting. And, I don't know if taking tires would have been the best thing right now. They should have two sets left. So if you took a set there, you would have 1 set left. Technically, if it stayed green, that would be the strategy to play. But that's a risky call here at Bristol. We know how cautions can breed cautions here at this short half mile.
Absolutely. Let's continue to watch these drivers and where they want to go. Setting up side by side, and this is just cautions breeding cautions, but it seems like it's the same drivers. We're being around the same cautions here. So we'll keep an eye out on those similar drivers that have been around the chaos here tonight. And sometimes you're just a magnet around and hoping for the best. As drivers up front getting stacked up, getting ready to go this time by.
Yeah, that's a tough magnet to get rid of too sometimes. So we got to find that thing if it's in the car and get rid of it, because I'll tell you what, some nights it's just not your night, and that's unfortunately how racing plays out. But what a night we've had so far. Wild actions. We had a long green flag run to start this, had a few cautions after it, but we're going to go back green flag racing to see how the strategy all plays out here in this final portion.
Turn number 3 into turn 4. This season, we've only seen 2 winners. That of Hunter Hayward with 3 wins and Mark Whitley with 3 wins. Mark Whitley trying to say, I'm the one with the most wins so far this season. Green flag in the air, but Leffler, great start for the 72. Keeping it side by side and just clear for second place.
Well, look at that. Leffler up to second, like you said there. Now look at Hayward. He's trying to work the top around Yarrow. He gets to his door. Can he make it work here out of 2? Looks like he will stay side by side down the back straightaway. They pulled dead even before the corner. Yarrow nose ahead through the corner, almost clearing. Yes, he does. Here comes Todd Neese in the 1 also.
Todd Neese, one of those drivers, fresh rubber for that team. So trying to get as much done as possible for themselves here. They're gonna get out of shape. We're gonna be losing ground for the 1. Sometimes you think you can make these bold moves, and other times you just can't. Todd Neese just happy that he's still surviving.
Yeah, those new tires, he was like, oh man, I'm ready to dig. And the thing he's got to keep in mind, not too many laps on the tires of the guys in front of him. Also, the cooldown phase. These tires come back very quickly, but those tires like his, very cold compared to this competition. So not going to fire off as quickly, but I expect here in the next few laps that one will really start rolling as he gets past Hayward now on the bottom.
Bush, Darnell, contact between the 44 and the 53 as these drivers multiple laps down for both of them and just trying to survive at this point. And that's just, I think that's the key word for tonight, survive, and make sure your engine's still working and you still got 4 tires underneath you and you still have a good, decent way of finishing. Is, oh no, Doyle out of shape out of 4. Gonna go down on the apron. No yellow waves for the 32, but our last car on the lead lap gonna be possibly losing a lap with that incident.
Oh man, he was looking for the mud sand that they were hiding in the infield to match his race car. Unfortunately, could not find it there for Lane Bull. As we stick here with the 53 of Gabe Bush, as he's got that 71 Gino Mars directly ahead to Eric Love and 87. They work around these high banks. This track is just so fast. You see how fast the action happens. And that's why it's tough to get away from wrecks when they happen in front of you.
And drivers naturally just want to get on the brakes sometimes when they see an incident, and it's going to force some drivers into some mixy situations where you can lose time and ground on getting yourselves into the wall or into other drivers that are spun out in front of you. It can certainly hit you and hurt you in a lot. As we're watching this battling going on in the middle of the field up front, Todd Neese, fresh rubber, he's making it work up to second after that is Steven Leffler having some issues for the 72. He thought he could make the pass for the lead, bogged himself down on the inside, losing a position, and now the 1 right on the back bumper of the 77.
Look at Todd Neese using every advantage he can here with that fresh rubber, trying to get the run here as they exit off of 4. Can't get there. Almost a nose into the back of the 77. He's going to go to the outside here off of 2. Does Whitley close the door? Doesn't. Is the 7 or the 1 gets to the outside of the 77, and that's going to be an easy pass there as he powers around the outside.
Might have a little bit of back bumper damage, but it's okay. The 1's got fresh rubber, and he is gone. Next driver with fresh rubber going to be that of David Neese, back in 4th place, picking and choosing. But here goes Leffler once again. Mark Whitley, it's just looking at the tires. We touched on the fact that Leffler, the longer the run goes on, that's when the 72 really starts to hit his pace.
Yeah, he's got a really, really good longer pace. It is impressive to watch, and he's really putting it to use tonight. But at the moment, David Neese, he's using fresh tires, and so he's starting to charge for it.
Michael Yarrow, going to be having issues for the 95. Got brushed the wall multiple times these last 5 laps, and now going to be trying to figure out how to reset, get back into the rhythm, because short track racing, like you said, it's so fast. All about finding that rhythm for yourself on how to get through the field, and luckily everyone was able to get by that 24 of Jason Adams, our lead pack. But again, you hope you don't catch up to lap cars when you're battling side by side, because that has been the real recipe to make these yellows come out.
That it has been. It's been the Achilles heel of this race, as you see here. Delph continuing to battle with the 72 of Leffler here. Delph is 1 lap down, first car a lap down too, fighting for that lucky dog. He's got, I believe, fresher tires as he goes by the 72 of Leffler, and he's going to set sights on Whitley next. Is Todd Neese making the gap? The thing is, if this thing stays green, guys, it plays right to his hands.
It does, especially for those drivers that pitted, because it was a little bit before halfway where we thought the drivers could stretch out their fuel to make it that far. So if this race goes green, even with the 2 cautions that have come out since drivers had made their last pit stop back at lap 90, I feel like that might be just a little bit too far for these drivers to stretch it out that far fuel wise, even with those caution laps helping with fuel saving.
And David Neese here, look at him in the 27 again on the newer tires, using them to his advantage. He was struggling earlier in this race. Same with Gino Morrow behind him in the 71. Both those drivers, sticking to the tail end of the top 10 there, almost going laps down near the end of the run. now on new tires, using them to their advantage as they run all over the back of Leffler. But that's always an interesting thing when you have a guy who's not kind of as quick a pace as you, but is on fresher tires. It's always a weird, awkward situation because at some point you possibly could become quicker than them again, even though their tires are fresher.
I mean, it's got to be such a mindset, a little bit of a twist that you have to deal with of, hey, I know I'm faster than you, but do I just let you go because you got fresher rubber, or do I continue to fight? As we're still seeing Leffler willing to fight and understanding, hey, I'm in the racing line. This is where you want to be. At the same time, 27, Nice into the wall, and he might be finding a little bit of a help there of brushing the wall, getting himself straight and back to speed. It's kind of a frowned upon strategy. There are a couple of spots if you hit the wall, it can help you get an advantage, and that's exactly what David Nice got.
Yeah, very frowned upon, definitely, from the stewards on iRacing. So you definitely do not want to be found using that there to help you gain time. A lot of times it's a mistake, but like you said, Sam, it can seem to kind of help you get that car turned and pointed straight. It's like, whoa, it's like someone reached down and just turned the car for me.
Trying to find that early apex to get the maximum speed and a little bit of a launch because of that. As Leffler, he'll be brushing the wall just slightly as well, and looking at the 5th place runner of Gino Morrow, and now back up to 3rd place. All the different drivers where they want to attack. As Mark Whitley might be, I think for a lot of these drivers, might be questioning, should I have gotten tires for myself or stayed out as long as I have been? As this is around the window, we were expecting drivers that made that first pit stop around the caution. They might be thinking about pitting here soon in the next probably about 20 to 30 laps or so.
Yeah, I think those pit stops are definitely coming soon. We'll have to think, when do they actually happen? I mean, if you're one of these drivers who hasn't pit yet, like Whitley, to take that second set of tires, he's got to be thinking pretty soon. I mean, they pitted around lap 95 there. So we're getting near, even a lot of laps under caution, a pretty much good stopping point. So I expect at any point here some laps for these guys to pit. And if I'm Todd Nice, I stretch it only a few more laps than these guys, have an advantage on tires still, but he's got a gap to be able to work with you.
Yeah, and another thing is even if you come into pit road and you don't see Todd Nice come in, you're most likely going to be put 2 laps down just by trying to come into pit road, getting service done. I mean, a pit stop in your box is a full lap around here, let alone the time that you're going to lose going down pit road.
Very, very true, Sam. There, it's a lot of time to be lost here with that long pit road as you're going to travel all the way around here at pace speed. Whitley, though, he's got a little bit quicker here the last few laps. That time by wasn't as quick as Todd Nice, but a few laps before that was quicker. But he's got David Nice, Todd Nice's father, all over the back bumper, pressuring him. And the Nice is looking to put on a very nice show here tonight.
Let's try and do some quick looking points. And if we see, Mark Whitley do come down into pit road, or any of these other drivers that stayed out, you got Mark Whitley, that of Michael Yarrow that stayed out. Those are the 2 drivers, and also Robbie Darnell, but he's 3 laps down. If we see any of these drivers come to pit road, they're going to have to think about coming in here quickly, because they're going to need that time to try to run down all these other drivers. And even for that of Todd Nice, with having a 40 lap advantage, those tires have already equaled out in just about 25 laps, which, based on my calculations, you're going to have to run a second faster for at least 30 laps if you want to rebound from what your pit stop's going to be. Which, if you're equaling out before that, it's not looking good for any of these drivers, even if you stay out for another 20 laps to try to have a bigger advantage than what Todd Nice has currently over you.
It's a tough call for a lot of these drivers. I mean, for Whitley right here, he is, they're even and out right now at this point. Like you said, though, the lap times are getting there. But if you're Whitley, if you pit too early here, a caution comes out, you're going to get caught a few laps down. So with this long pit road here, as you see, Yarrow going around the 71. Oh, Darnell into the wall in front of him. But this is such a tough decision here. Bristol, one of the hardest tracks to make the decision when to pit under green. because you know there's a caution lurking around the corner at any point, and if you pit and a caution comes out, it is day over here on the racetrack.
Driver that's not thinking about pitting, just in cruise control. Todd Neese, he is all on his lonesome, as there's really next closest driver about 5 seconds in front of him, and behind him about 3 seconds. So a comfortable spot for the one who was looking for his first win of the season, as we've only had 2 winners in just our first 6 races of the season, that being Hunter Hayward and Mark Whitley, who have just been dominating all season long. But today's race, it looked like Hunter Hayward and Mark Whitley were the dominant cars once again, but different circumstances, some tire and pit stop strategies come around, and now the big question of we might see a new winner this season.
Oh, this race has opened up a Pandora's boxes of possibilities here with Hayward having that trouble and Whitley here with one of the less optimal strategy, it seems like. So right now, if Neese can go out there and win, this would be huge for the rest of the series to know that these other 2 guys are not taking every win each and every week.
Absolutely not. It's still hard racing from all throughout the field. Currently right now, we're looking at the 32. Lane Doyle is going to be our first car 1 lap down, and hoping to be the lucky dog just in case an accident happens, where we're seeing a couple of battles going on. We were watching the battle for 5th for quite a while. That Amaro and Yarrow battling between one another. Other action that's going on is for 10th place, where we got that of Derek Love trying to get by the 21 of Hunter Hayward, and also that of Dave Bush in 11th behind the 21. And you got those 2 close actions going on, and then mingled throughout the field are the drivers that have been just so off pace. You got a question, are they going to be becoming our next wreck? As looking through the field, our leaders are loving this. Todd Neese, over 5 seconds is the gap between himself and Mark Whitley.
Yeah, the tires have seemed to even out, but at the same time, Neese a little bit more consistent, it seems like. With the lap times, able to click off a little bit quicker and pull away from Whitley here up to a 5.2 second gap here. But I tell you what, you know, Sam, you pointed out there, Morrow and Yarrow. I'm surprised I have not seen that yet or thought of that yet. So now when I say those 2's name, I'm going to be rhyming them every time.
Every time. When I joined this series last week, I was like, Morrow, Yarrow. I mean, that is going to trip me up at some point this season. And you got Gino and Michael doing a great job battling still for 5th place, not giving an inch to one another. Even though with this hard racing, losing time to the drivers in front of them and behind them. But credit to Yarrow on the older tires, still holding on with Gino Morrow, who, with that damage for the 71, that is what's keeping this battle so close for 5th place.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is Yarrow on the older tires, trying his best. You can see he gets there, but just can't get it done. He can't get that bottom to work right now in the 95 to be able to get to the inside there, make the pass now as we jump up to David Neese. Top 3 running position here for him, but he cannot look too far behind as Steven Leffler is stalking his prey for that top 3 finish. He definitely needs this after missing last week.
A little bit of equal footing between that of Whitley, Neese, and Leffler. They both have a half a second between one another and trying to make sure they don't get into any trouble. But Mark Whitley, he's got caught up to lap traffic that is bogging the 77 down because he's on the older tires. That inside line just so difficult to make it work, which is now giving Neese, Leffler a shot to gain time on the 77.
Yeah, I tell you what, Whitley there gained a lot of time in the last few laps, and this is not going to help now with Belton at 14 here. We're nearing 50 to go. This is getting to the point where it's really playing into the Neese's hands, and the drivers took the 4 tires here. As you can see, Delph not making it easy one bit at all as a lapper here. I mean, he's got Doyle directly ahead of him, who he's racing for that lucky dog, so it's not surprising me he's racing this hard.
Well, Delph's one of those drivers that we've seen here tonight that has been struggling to get by cars, and why not be the biggest block out there? Try to hold off, keep every position as possible. This isn't for a position, but it's still trying to hold back second place. It's a great move by the 14, trying to hold down so he doesn't lose any more ground. as well as he's trying to get by Doyle as fast as possible. But Hunter Hayward's got to be careful because Todd Neese right behind him. So what is battle for the Lucky Dog spot soon could be just a battle for position.
Yeah, that's Hunter Hayward there, only about 3 or 4 car lengths ahead of our leader Todd Neese, and he's starting to gain here as we click off the laps here at Bristol. He's got a lot of traffic ahead. I mean, he's gained because of Whitley racing with them. Oh no, some more going on in the back, I believe.
Oh no, I was just looking at Derek Love in front of our leader. They made contact between the 44 and the 87 right when the one was gaining time. That closing rate incredible between our leader and lap traffic. Yeah, some hard racing there. And then also Whitley doing his best, finally side by side with that of Doyle. I mean, of Dolphin. Doyle's trying to hold off, but just one slip up from one of these drivers can be costly for this lead group. And we're seeing side by side action, and the 24 just in front of this pack.
Yeah, the 24 is not been the greatest time for Jason Adams. We'll see what he does here as we come up to him. Whitley's got to be pulling his hair out right now, saying, guys, I am racing for a win here. I need every bit of time, and you see diving down to the corner.
Oh, Doyle into the wall.
Really close.
Just trying to be forced 3 wide. It can be costly for these drivers. As still Todd Neese trying to get by that of Derek Love. And Hunter Hayward, he's loving the fact that Love is making it so difficult. I think right now we're seeing those tires. They've hit the mark where you just cannot pass anyone else. And because we're less than 50 laps to the end of this thing, I think you've already kind of made your spot. These drivers all racing it to the end. No one's going to come in for an extra stop.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting now. Can Whitley and them make it is my question. I think Neese, he should be good to the end where he stopped. But Whitley and them, Sam, I'm concerned for those drivers on making it all the way to the end.
It's going to be almost 170 laps these drivers have to push it out to. I believe it's going to be about 158, excuse me, for these drivers to make it to the end. And we were saying possibly around 125 was the marker. We had 2 cautions that came out, so that might push it out for another 5 to 10 laps. I mean, it's questionable. We'll see here in the next about 15 to 20 laps if they've saved enough fuel to make it here to the end.
Oh man, that makes it even tougher. This is such a tough track to save fuel. I mean, such short straightaways, very long corners, and you get out the gas here. Yeah, you roll for a long time, but if you don't jump back in the gas, you're going to be super slow. And at the moment, about 5 seconds back from Todd Neese is Whitley. I just don't see him being able to make it. If he does, that is going to be so impressive, and it personally will catch me off guard.
I mean, Whitley's not in save mode at all. He is just sending it, now running, being the fastest car on track, even with older tires. And incredible to see how fast we're seeing Mark Whitley run compared to the rest of the field. And what's crazy is also Yarrow is looking quick. The drivers that were on those older tires, they still are looking fast. And I think it's because those drivers got freshies. They were being extremely aggressive, overusing their tires. So later on in a run, those tires equal out and now have been offset to where you've overused them late in this race.
Well, right here in the final moments of this race, this is going to click off very quickly, everybody. I want to make sure to give everyone a shout there who tuned in tonight at Freaking Fast Broadcasting here at Sim Racing Unleashed here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. It has been a pleasure for myself, and I'm sure Sam too, to call this race. It's been some wild action here at the Fishbowl, the last great Coliseum. Thank you everybody again for hitting that like, that bell, and that subscribe button here at Freaking Fast Broadcasting as we're on our way to 1,000 here subscribers by the end of 2021. Again, thank you everybody. It's been a pleasure.
It's been awesome to see this field and the way that it's been racing, and also for me at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, came on board at the beginning of the year, and it's been a blast watching these guys as Ooh, a little contact for the one. Similar spot where we saw Mark Whitley in the first 10 laps running into the outside wall in the entry of turn 3. The one, got to be careful for himself, getting a little bit of a rub there. Don't want to get too much damage here late in this race.
Yeah, you can't make any mistakes. This is not over yet. Just because you got a 4.7 second lead doesn't mean it's done with. Right now, Whitley about 400ths a lap quicker than Todd Nice. But Nice, I mean, at that rate, there's no way Whitley catches you. But if you go out there and make mistakes like bang the wall down, make enough damage to where your car is going to handle different, it could get out of hurry pretty quickly here at this track. And Todd Nice could be looking at a miracle with that 77. But at the moment, he is looking to be primed for a win. If he can just pull this off, Sam, this would be one of the biggest stories of the season.
Oh, no, it's not over yet. As I was going to say, possible chance of a yellow, and it waves the 7. Mike Chamberlain going to be getting himself in trouble out of turn number 4. And that was contact between himself and Mark Whitley. The 77 has some right side damage he's got to figure out how to work on.
Oh, man, as we go back here, it looks like you'll see here Whitley catching up to the 70 of Mark Chamberlain, goes to the inside, just a little bit of contact between him and the 70, as that's going to send the 70 around to bring out the caution. And, not saying Whitley did that on purpose, but that was a well-needed caution for him. Yeah, going to get a little bit of right side damage, but I think that caution is going to help him more than anything.
I mean, it just looked like one of those incidences where Whitley was expecting Chamberlain to give a little bit more space. I know the 70 was running in the middle, but that's a spot where drivers are going to want to have some space for going on the inside, but we're seeing it. Usually it's, when we go to Darlington, there's a Darlington stripe on the wall, expecting a lot of right side damage. Here, with everyone running so high at Bristol, I think almost everyone has some type of right side damage. If not from contact with someone else, contact with the wall.
Yeah, this place is notorious for right side damage, almost as bad as what Darlington would be. I mean, there's just these tracks here on iRacing that you run the top side, and you're usually going to see guys with a pretty bent up right side as they've all come up pit road here. 25 to go, got tires, fuel. It's anybody's game now. Hunter Hayward, he stayed on the lead lap there. Luckily, he's going to restart in the 4th position. I mean, anything is possible here. If a few guys get into an incident too, we could have a completely different player out front.
Season long, it seems like Mark Whitley, Hunter Hayward, they have had some type of horseshoe of luck helping them get the wins. It's just been those two winning all season long. But here tonight, lap traffic has been an issue for both that of the 21 and the 77. Mark Whitley going to be still in 2nd place, but a lot more damage than I think he was expecting to grab for himself. And then 21 Hunter Hayward going to be back in 4th place. But the driver I'm keeping my eye out is got to be Michael Yarrow, back in 6th position. That 65 was looking quick, but he's got to hope that he finds himself with a little bit more green flag racing. And I see him cutting his way through, looking for a top 3 finish.
Well, we are going to have fun here because the big thing I'm looking at too is Leffler. He is going to be restarting in 3rd. Can he take advantage of that on these guys? I mean, he's restarted 2nd, 4th, multiple different lines here. Can he get in front of Whitley? Does he have the shot to get in front of Nice? I mean, does Nice go out here hold it off? I mean, everybody here on even set of tires now, no advantages other than their driving skills. This is going to come down to the nitty gritty, and look at this, Nice taking the top side. It's going to give Whitley the bottom. This sets up Hayward in a good position also with the leader taking the outside.
That's if Hunter Hayward can get himself going. I mean, with that front end damage, got to wonder if maybe any acceleration is going to be hindering that team. So Hunter Hayward's been doing a great job keeping himself within the top 5 whenever we're in fresh rubber, but the longer the run goes on, the more it hurts the 21. But up front, Todd Nice, Mark Whitley. We'll see who can get this thing done. The pace truck is off, and we are green here at Bristol. The concrete is open, and Hunter Hayward got a great launch as he's on the outside, 3rd place for the 21. But still, side by side for the lead, but there's that outside move. Nice already up to the lead.
Oh man, and Whitley, he closed the door on the 21, and that is what he needed to do. If Hayward would have got to his outside, that would have pushed him back to third. It would have made his job a lot harder with 21 to go, all over the back of Todd Neese. He's gonna have to make the pass on the bottom, and oh, Neese makes a mistake, and it's gonna slow him up.
Slow up the whole entire top three. Here comes that of Leffler. Now into the mix side by side for third place. Not Nice gonna be staying high, but Whitley not giving up. Still side by side. 2 rows deep, and here it goes. Same move again into turn number 1. Here comes Mark Whitley. He's just not clear as Hunter Hayward finds the speed on the exit as they are wrecking to the back. So looking more of Adams losing it all on his lonesome. Bringing out the yellow here late in this race and catching up to the, I believe he almost made contact, might have made contact with 53 of Bush coming on the entry of turn 1. That is going to bring out our 5th caution of the evening.
Yeah, it looks like this inning might here have a little bit of carnage in store for us here. As that caution came out, Whitley was able to nose ahead, grab the lead by the timing line. As Nice, he made 2 big mistakes in a row, Sam, at getting into the outside wall. And Leffler coming back down pit road. Looks like maybe he's taking his last set of tires here, possibly. So I believe he's thinking, you know what, we got one more set left. There's only 8 cars on the lead lap. Might as well go ahead and throw the last set on, but that is definitely giving up a few spots here.
Yeah, and this is now going to be putting another driver back on the lead lap. That of Derek Love, going to be our 9th driver on the lead lap. And Love has had an eventful night here. Caught up in a couple of wrecks, trying to avoid lap traffic and getting clipped. And that's happened twice, bringing out our first 2 cautions. And ever since then, Love's just trying to keep his nose clean and out of trouble. As up front, Mark Whitley, you touched on it. Just a nose ahead before the yellow, and you didn't have to confirm the pass, but man, does that yellow certainly help the 77. Being that control car gives them so much power. And now is the question. I'm expecting Whitley to probably stay low and try to help Hunter here to try to get some distance between the 77 and the 1.
Yeah, I think this is his chance to be able to solidify his chance for a win here. It's going to come down to this restart. It seems like it's tough to pass once you get up to speed. So if Todd Neese, I mean, we'll see. Does Whitley take the bottom? Does he take the outside line? If he takes the top, I think it's pretty solidified for him. But if he takes the bottom, Neese gets a good enough start, can stay side by side with him exiting 2, he has a chance. I mean, that's what it's all going to come down to in my book. But at the same time, this track is just so tough. You know, not a lot of options.
There really isn't. And also another driver in that second row, Yarrow, he started back in 6th place on that last restart, moved up 2 positions for the 95, and now we'll see if Yarrow is going to be able to move himself up into the top 3. He's been looking pretty quick here late, but the real decision is where does Mark Whitley want to place himself on this restart as the laps still continue to tick away. And this race, you know, he was going away very quick, and it still has gone away pretty quick as we have been green for now that of an hour and 13 minutes. I mean, it is crazy that we've gone through 237 laps in just a little bit under an hour and a half, when usually these races take a lot longer than that.
Oh, yes, I thought we were in for one tonight, Sam. You know, when you come to Bristol, 250 laps, you see that on the schedule. You kind of say, oh, man, we could be here for a long one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The booth, we better pack some snacks. But it looks like the snacks are going to have to be held off till after the races. We're going to go back green here. 14 to go. This thing's clicking off quick.
It's going to be Whitley down below with Hunter Hayward right on the back bumper, waiting for the green, and a little bit delayed. And it's going to help Whitley, but jams up everyone else that was expecting to take off earlier. Hunter Hayward, though, with the great launch for himself up to 2nd. Oh no, Leffler losing ground, went from 4th all the way back to 7th.
Oh man, here he comes down the outside past David Neese. Does he have something here for Gino Morrow? There as he comes up the inside, nothing yet as Hayward hangs on the 2nd. Whitley out front though. trying to get that 4th win of the season to back up that 5th pole. What a season he's having. Here comes with, oh my man, Leffler. I can't get his name right. It was so close.
Leffler in the 71, still almost contact between the two of them as racing through 10 laps to go. Mark Whitley, Hunter Hayward both had trouble with lap traffic during this race, but still are running 1-2. Leffler going to be ducking it low, trying to get by that tomorrow. Not able to do so as, like you said, once they're up to speed, it's so difficult to make a pass. Might need a little bit of contact if you want to be moving a car out of the way, but also could be putting you in trouble as the laps continue to tick away. Coming to 8 laps to go. Mark Whitley, Hunter Hayward, Todd Neese, Mike Yarrow, and Gino. Yarrow and Morrow still running 4th and 5th side by side. Is that battle for 5th place?
Yeah, Leffler, he came in, got those tires restarted now trying to get the position, but that decision to get those tires, I think, was not worth it as he does clear Morrow. Finally, now sets his sights on Yarrow down the back straightaway with 7 to go. Leffler taking those tires, that could come back to bite him here for a top 30.
Delph, who's been absolutely just hindered by being a lap down, able to try to make a pass here, possibly for 6th place with a 14. Seems to be just struggling to find that pace through the center of the corner. The driver that's not struggling, just pulling away over a second. It's Mark Whitley just continuing to cruise away. 5 laps to go here at Bristol.
Oh man, it's getting very intense here for his 2nd spot. Hayward there trying to stretch away from Neese with that damage. Can't really do it. Leffler coming up to the inside of Yarrow. There's a little bit of contact. It was right on board with him. Looks like down the back straightaway. Leffler going to be a nose ahead. Can he get out ahead though? Yarrow powers off the top. What a move with 3 to go.
And you got that of Gino Morrow is going to be also dealing with that of Dolph, who's not giving up at all. But our top 3 looking pretty solidified as Yarrow able to hold off Leffler. But the laps, again, continue to tick off in a way. 2 laps to go on the backstretch. Mark Whitley thought maybe with some incidents with lap cars, it would took away his chances. White flag in the air, 1 to go. Mark Whitley in the 77. Zach, what a run for this team, even with the little bit of trouble they had.
Yeah, a little bit of trouble, no problem for them as they come out of 4. Whitley going to win here tonight at Sim Racing Unleashed at the Bristol Motor Speedway with Hunter Hayward in 2nd, Todd Neese 3rd. Man, the Whitley there just schooled them boys on the last restart up to a almost 2-second lead. Very dominant performance.
Hunter Hayward also with him looking like he was a driver to watch out for in those first about 50 laps to win, possibly gets himself trapped in trouble, but 2nd place finish for the 21 as Mark Whitley gets to burn it down here at Bristol. What a race, and certainly the name of the last great Coliseum lives up here at Bristol as it was madness all over. You didn't know who was going to get it done, but it was the 77 late gets to burn it down here. We'll talk to our top 3, Mark Whitley, Hunter Hayward, and Todd Neese in just a few.
All right, we are back here, everybody, for our post-race interviews tonight from Sim Racing Unleashes Cup Series from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Let's talk to Todd Neese, our third place man here tonight in the one car. Hey, Todd, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir, I do.
I tell you what, Todd, a great run for you tonight, man. You took tires under that one caution while a lot of drivers did not. Man, if it wasn't for that unfortunate caution near the end of the race, it looks like it would have been possibly in your hands for the win there, man. But nonetheless, still a great night. Take us through your night here at Bristol, though.
Well, it just felt good to run that competitively. This is a tough bunch of guys. Mark and Hunter are world class. They're definitely pro level guys, and just to try and keep up with them and try to beat them is an honor and a privilege. And it was just great to have the big green Publix car up front.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, it was fun to watch all night there. When you got on, when you went to decide to go to that strategy, what was the deciding factor there? I mean, we saw how big a difference it was on tires and how big a difference it was going to play out to be. It seemed like, you had that almost in the bag there. If that caution had come out, like I said before, I mean, what was the decision factor into that strategy?
A lot of things. I didn't feel like I could beat him one-on-one in the stream strategy. I also noticed the field was dwindling a bit, and I thought maybe there was a chance to go green to the end. And so I stayed up high under caution, trying to lull him to sleep, and then I swooped down and pitted for some tires.
Well, I tell you what, you definitely caught him off guard there, Todd, as you were able to come down, get those tires, man, and use them to your advantage. Unfortunately, that caution would come out to take that win away from you, man, but nonetheless, still a great run tonight in that one machine up front all night long. Before we let you out of here, Todd, for your third place finish, anybody want to send a shout out to, man?
Want to give a shout out to my children and my wife. My family lets me race, and they allow me the time to do it. Couldn't be more thankful. Public Supermarkets Incorporated for giving me a fast Ford Mustang, and you fellas for broadcasting the race and giving us high quality content.
Well, we appreciate it from all you drivers out there on the track, Todd. You have a great night, and we will catch you next time, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody. That was Todd Neese, your third place finisher here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Let's bring up our race winner from last week, Hunter Hayward, as unable to get that fourth win and untie Mark Whitley, but had Whitley take the fourth one here tonight. So definitely a battle between these top two. Let's hear from Hunter. Hey, Hunter, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, buddy. Well, I tell you what, great fight back for you tonight here to get second. Almost going a lap down there before one of the final cautions there at the end of the race. Able to get back up to second with all that damage. I mean, what a hard fought battle it was for you tonight. It seemed like you were fighting uphill after that damage.
Oh, it was. Yeah, at that point when I looked at the damage and knew I just wasn't up to par on RPMs. I just knew that I was much quicker in the corners than everybody else, but nowhere near on the straights. So yeah, at that point I kind of just started fighting back. I didn't fall any further back than around 8th place, but I was really struggling, especially when those about 10 cars took the fresh tires, especially Todd, who just ran out of luck again. I mean, I feel heartbroken for him, but yeah, that was a really close one for him. But yeah, and that final couple cautions that came out, I took the tires. I restarted 4th, and I don't know what happened. I had all my damage repaired. I still couldn't get all my damage fully fixed. I couldn't get a brand new car, unfortunately, and Whitley was still quicker than me because of the damage. But I'll take a second place finish. That was a really good recovery for me and my team, especially my two other teammates here today, Dave Bush and Stemp, really had unfortunate days today with incidents.
Yeah, not the greatest night for Smoke Inc. there, Hunter. But I tell you what, buddy, nonetheless, you fought great all night here at the Bristol International, or sorry, not the Bristol International Speedway, the Bristol Motor Speedway. Tonight though, it seemed very, very tough to pass. You got the lead early. What was that kind of the thing? You battled with Whitley there. You got the pick set up with the lap cars and getting through lap traffic. Take us through lap traffic all night and just how tough passing was on older tires.
Oh, in the very beginning, the first wave of traffic definitely is the most stressful, just because they're all still packed up pretty largely, especially at a short track like that. And yeah, so I with passing here, you just gotta set up passes. It's gonna take laps to make the pass work, and just slowly build into it, rather than other tracks where you can do it in one set of corners. So it's just that mindset of just building up the passing, and that's exactly what I did with Whitley. In the very beginning of the race, I saw that lap car was staying high, and he got stuck behind it, and I used him as a pick and got around him there. Unfortunately, when I had the lead, I was talking to the 51 of Cohen, and I don't know if he heard me say I'm going low, or if he just didn't hear me in general, but just miscommunication with him. I got on the back of him, and unfortunately, just damage from there that I couldn't really fully get back. But lap traffic definitely helped with setting up passes on drivers that you're trying to get around, using them as a pick. But overall, passing on the inside after a long run was definitely much tougher if you were about even on tires.
Well, great stuff from you tonight, Hunter, to come back to second, man. Unfortunately, one spot short of that win, but nonetheless, with that damage, just kind of feel great. So, congrats on second, buddy. Before we let you get out of here, any shots you want to finish or send out to?
Yeah, just all my teammates out there, Steven Symbian and Dave Bush, especially Dave Bush, with making my paints every week and updating them up to par every single time. So thank you for that. Unfortunate day for both of them. I know both of them had like 30 minutes of required repairs, so that's definitely not what you want to see. But that's Bristol sometimes. Yeah, just everybody else over at Cat 5, Zach, Cedric, Collie, Brian, Larry, all of them out there help me out every week. Also, this league for letting me race every single week in and week out. I enjoy doing it. Y'all broadcasting these races, y'all do a great job, and also me being able to commentate for y'all every couple of weeks or multiple times a week sometimes, and I really enjoy it. Also, my sponsor, PlanBSales.com. If you're looking for any apparel for your favorite drivers in any type of motorsport, dirt racing, sprint car racing, NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar, any of them, go check them out and get any apparel, from t-shirts to diecast to any paraphernalia. And you can use code HH48, HH as in Hunter Hayward 48, in checkout for free shipping on orders over $20. So check them out. It really helps out them and me as well. Also, check out Tuesday Night League, Tuesday 9:30 Eastern. RSR Racing. We have a big playoff race this Tuesday at Richmond, especially for me as well. So go check them out. It'll be a really good race, and it'll be one to really enjoy watching. So yeah.
Well, buddy, congrats on second here tonight. You have a great night, and we will catch you next time.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, guys, that was your second place finisher, Hunter Hayward. But now we'll move on to points leader, pole setter, and race winner tonight here, Bristol Motor Speedway, and Mark Whitley. Hey, Mark, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
I got you loud and clear, Zach.
Well, I tell you what, man, another great win for yourself tonight. You know, coming in here tonight, 6 races in, had 3 wins, alongside Hunter Hayward with 3 wins. Tonight, able to get that 4th win, man, and lock yourself as the top spot in that winner's column. How was the racing out here tonight at Bristol, man? As you had some close calls out there, and I was able to come home with a victory here in the closing.
Oh yeah, me and Bristol haven't always been the best of friends, if you want to catch my drift. I'm sure you probably remember back in WSSR a lot of times I had major issues with tires just falling off a cliff, and then it falling off another cliff, and then falling off another cliff, and then burning and dying, and just I've had a lot of issues with tire wear, just to say, especially at this track. But I don't know. I know I had to about a month or two ago, I ran a one-off race with a different league when this league was off, and that was at Bristol, and I figured something out, something I'd never thought about doing. I started doing it, and it worked, and it kept the tires under me. So I was like, all right, cool, that's something to keep in the back of my mind and just see if it works, later down the road. And then we come here, and then the Xfinity Series, I ran up front pretty much all night, and then just got caught out at the end a little bit, but then won the truck race. And I came in here, and this new car, it's completely different from anything we drive. Most of the mile and a halves have been turned into draft fest, which I'm not really a big fan of because it minimizes skill and it maximizes the luck aspect. So I like that they seem to be more fun on these short tracks and road courses because it puts more into the driver's hands, which I think everybody can appreciate. But I just the little trick I figured out worked with these. I was able to keep the tires under me. I know there was a couple guys that were a little bit faster than me on the longer run, but as long as I was able to hold them off for a few laps, they would start to overheat their tires and they would fall back. And then the whole race, it was just about just trying to maintain the lead, run good laps, get through traffic. Like you said, last week was a absolute just disaster for me when it comes to that. I feel like I was a ping pong ball out there, but this week it was just about staying out of trouble, keeping the wheels on the car, all four corners, the way they're supposed to be. And then we had a couple long green flag runs, but there was one where we only had about 15, 20 laps on it, and I was like, I'm just going to stay out because I'd rather have an extra set at the end. And then Todd made the strategy call of the night to come in and get those tires, and we almost went green to the end there until me and I think it was Mike. I think he said he got loose when I was trying to go up under him, and that caused a caution. I feel kind of bad because I wound up, because the caution came out, I had a chance to win, and Todd kind of got that one taken away. But I don't know. I think Mike had some issue where he got loose or something, and that's just how it goes sometimes. I've been on the receiving end of that. He's going to win one of these races sooner or later. He's a tough competitor. He's one of the people that can keep the tires on the car for 200 laps, even if the tank only goes 100. So always good. But then at the end of the race, it was just about trying to push the car as hard as possible. And then it was me, Hunter, and Todd. And then that first restart, Todd got a little tight and got into the wall, and I saw it coming. I tried to jump out the gas, and I still don't know how me, him, and Hunter all didn't just wipe out there coming off the corner. I've seen that happen so many times here at Bristol, and it always ends in disaster for everybody involved. But we were able to keep it back going, and then I was able to stay side by side with Todd, and then I knew I had to clear him because he was going to have the run offside. So my plan was to just absolutely dive it into turn 3 and try to pull a slide job. But we were going into 3, and he let off early so he could try to get the run, and the caution came out, so I was in front of him. So it really worked out for me because I'm not sure if I would have been able to clear him for the slide job, and then he'd have had one heck of a run coming off, and that'd have been it. And then on the restart, we were able to just get a good restart, and then I just ran right into the ground pretty much. Those are the hardest 15 laps I ran the whole race, just pretty much trying to put a qualifying lap down every time just to try to stay away from him, because I know Hunter, me and him have had battles for numerous seasons now, and it's just I didn't want to be anywhere near him. I knew he still had damage from earlier in the race, but I was able to pull away, and then I was just counting down in my head, and that when it got 2 to go, I that's probably the lap I drove the hardest, trying to get back around to 1 to go. That way I knew the race wasn't going to end under have a caution. So I probably drove it a little bit extra hard on that one, and then when I got back around, it was just about hitting my marks, and was able to come away with a win. That was a very long, intensive race, and I think I need an ice pack on my right shoulder right now.
Buddy, I'll tell you, that was a heck of a drive for yourself to pull off that win here after getting the pole tonight, also to get that 4th victory alongside that 5th pole, man. So congrats on that. We head off to Darlington next week in the next gen car. How you feel about heading off into Darlington?
Well, Darlington's always been one of my favorite tracks in real life and on here. Haven't always had the greatest finish and results there, but it's always been one of my favorite tracks. I've only really gotten a chance to run that track with these cars when they first came out, so I don't know if they've changed any. Hopefully it'll produce some better racing than some of the other intermediate tracks, because I'm fairly certain, at least in turn 3 or 4, we're gonna have to use some brakes. Which whenever you have to start using brake, that's when the drivers can come out, because it actually requires a driver and not just somebody to hold the steering wheel and hope they don't crash. But I think it's gonna be interesting to see how the tire wear was. Here, I'm surprised the tire wear wasn't really that bad. Like it would fall off about a second, but after that, it wouldn't fall off too much more. The current Cup car, I mean, you could fall off 2.5 seconds, and it would just keep going. Especially if you got them hot, you were in a bad way. But this car seems to be it'll fall off kind of quick sometimes, but then they'll stay about the same after that. So it's going to be really interesting, I feel like. So that track's always hard on tires. So it's going to be this car. It's all about trying to get track position, because it's hard to pass with the side draft with these things. I mean, somebody could be coming 10 mile an hour faster. You get next to them, you almost reach out there and pull them back to you. It's kind of crazy how strong this draft is, but I think it should be an interesting race. I really don't know what to expect because it's kind of a half short track, half intermediate. So hopefully we can put on a good show there and bring home another win. Try to go for the tie from last season. This season's been a little bit less consistent. We've got 4 wins now, but the other 2 races not so good, honestly. So hopefully we can try to find some more consistency here and try to win that second championship.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, it's been a good start to that. Like you said, a little up and down with the other 2 races, but at the end of the day, the speed is there, my friend. So we'll have to see how you can work out the rest of the season, Mark. Before we let you go, though, buddy, anybody you want to send a shout out to?
Oh yeah, just want to give a quick shout out to my family, mom, dad, granddad. I know they're tuning in. My fiance's in there on the living room. I think she must be watching some scary movie because I heard some like type that kind of music. So I'm like, all right. So she can go ahead and watch that stuff without me. I'm not a fan of that stuff, so she watches it whenever I'm in here. So it works out. Give a shout out to y'all on the broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch this because I know from the car it was entertaining just from my point of view. So I can only imagine y'all with with this kind of broadcast. It's going to be amazing to go back and watch. After I'm probably gonna be just go get in my tub with a bunch of ice water and just sit the computer up because I'm telling you this track wore me out. I don't know how everybody else is, but this track wore me out.
Well, buddy, go ahead and get you some rest and go celebrate this win, Mark. Congrats on it, buddy, and we will catch you next time at Darlington.
All right, thanks guys. See y'all next week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was your winner here tonight, Mark Whitley. 4th win of the season here at the Bristol Motor Speedway as we pull up our race results here tonight for final finishing order here at Sim Racing Unleashes Cup Series. First place there going to Mark Whitley. Second's going to end up in Hunter Hayward's hands. Third is going to end up in Todd Neese. Fourth is going to be Michael Yara. Rounding out the top 5 will be Stephen Leffler. 6th is going to be Gino Morrow. 7th is going to be Brad Delth. 8th is David Neese. 9th is Derek Love. Rounding out your top 10 will be Lane Doyle. 11th is going to be Robbie Darnell. 12th, Mike Chamberlain. 13th, Dave Bush. 14th is going to be Jason Adams. 15th, Steven Stimpian. 16th, Mark Koscheck. 17th, Paul Cohen. 18th, James Bryan. 19th, Keith Hurlbut. And rounding out your field in the 20th position is Clifton Ashley, as that's your race results here tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway. And Sam, what a night we had here. What a win for Mark Whitley. But man, we got some more wild races coming in the future also.
Oh yeah, Darlington's going to be the next one on our list to go to, and touched on the fact that that right side looked beat up like we were at Darlington. We'll see if the drivers have the grip with these next gen Cup cars. And you know, we've been seeing how the draft package has been really the biggest thing to touch on when we go to these tracks bigger than a mile. I'm interested to see if the draft package is going to be similar when we go to Darlington. But for here tonight, Mark Whitley comes back after needing a little bit of luck from that late caution that came out. But I think tonight, the biggest thing to take away was cautions and pitch strategies were the main things for these drivers to allow you to make a lot of gains on your pit stops or even with having fresher tires, because once you got going, it was difficult to make passes in lap traffic. Another one of those big factors whenever you go to Bristol.
It's going to be fun to watch the rest of this season play out here, Sam. I cannot wait for that all to shake out here, as Bristol has been wild nonetheless. I've seen some deja vu moments, some side-by-side action, some pit strategy. It was a bag full of things here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and Sim Racing Unleashed. But man, I cannot help or thank everybody enough for tuning in here tonight. The Freak Fast Broadcasting, as always. And remember, if you haven't yet and you're still tuning in, please hit that thumbs up button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button, as we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And that notification bell will let you know every time we go live. So make sure to hit that. But to end tonight, I think we need to send it up to our producer, Robert Moyer Jr. here to close out tonight's broadcast.
All right, thank you guys. Great calling, man. Much appreciate you, Zach and Sam, for coming aboard here and doing this on Sunday nights here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the commentating here tonight with SR View here at Bristol Motor Speedway. I call it the fishbowl, but you know, everybody's got their own little nicknames for certain tracks. But like these gentlemen said, next week we'll be at Darlington, so we'll have to see how these next-gen cars handle that track, as that's one of my favorite tracks actually to go watch and actually race on, other than Michigan International Speedway. That's a fun track too. But I do love some Darlington racing, so we'll see what these gentlemen can do next Sunday night at 7:50 here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But our next televised will be this coming Tuesday as we head into Richmond, as it's the last round of the top 12 for the playoffs, as Hunter Hayward at 920 is going to have to go for a win, ladies and gentlemen. He has no choice to make it to the next round. He needs a win. So make sure you tune in on Tuesday for our doubleheader with Evolution Racing League at Richmond, as they bring out the ARCA cars at 7:20, Cup cars at 9:20 Eastern Standard Time. But everybody, until then, have a great Monday. Be safe. Don't work too hard, and we will catch you Tuesday night. Until then, God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye.